Hello and welcome back to the TomFM channel and the San Marino experiment. Today we have got part 2 of that experiment where we're trying to make San Marino the best team in the world. The ultimate goal, of course, is to try and get them to win some sort of silverware, whether that be continental or international. I don't mind, as long as they win something and get as close to that #1 ranking spot in the world. I'll be very happy with this experiment. So if you've missed part 1 of this experiment, there'll be a little link on the top of the screen right now that will take you back to part 1. Go and watch that and then come back and join this experiment once again, because a few things need explaining in that first episode so you can sort of understand how San Marino are going to become the best team in the world. If you have watched part 1, then welcome to part 2. Hopefully we're going to see a lot of progress in today's episode. We're going to start off though right here. It's 2022. This is where we got up to last episode. So just a quick reminder, San Marino are 168th in the world rankings, and the San Marino League itself is 148th in European continental competition. So we're going to go forward a few 4-year cycles and see what's happened since we were last here. Before we do that though, please do drop a like on the video if you like this experiment so far, and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. We are very, very close to that 10,000 subscriber mark now, and I'd really like to hit that. That would be amazing. Before we do go forward in the future in today's episode though, please can you do drop a like on the video if you like this experiment and think it's a really good idea so far. Please do subscribe as well, because we're so close to 10,000 subscribers now, and I would love to hit that as well. And if you are interested, I've got a link in the description that takes you to Teespring. I've got a few limited edition TomFM 10,000 subscriber t-shirts that will go off sale as soon as we hit 10,000 subscribers. We did the same thing at 5,000 subscribers, and conveniently I am wearing my 5,000 subscriber top right now. The 10k one looks just like this, but it's got 10k rather than 5k on it. But a few of you at the time said, oh, can we have some 10k t-shirts instead, because I missed out on the 5k one. So if you're interested, it's there. Link in the description takes you to the website. If you're not interested, don't worry about it. It's no hard feelings. It's just there if you want it, sort of thing. So thank you very much, and let's get on with today's video. So here we are then in 2026 now, another 4 years from the last time we're here. Let's find San Marino then as the country. San Marino, here they are, right. So we've rocketed up to 126th in the world rankings, which is very, very good. Up 40 places or so, 42 places since last time, which is really, really good. As you can see down here on the world ranking history, if I probably move my head out the way a little bit, you can see it slightly better, but you can see the upward trajectory all the way up here to the highest point now, 126th, which I think is pretty good going for San Marino. I think first of all, we jump into the team and see if we've got any more wonder kids, because those 2 wonder kids from last time, they'll still be in the squad, I imagine, if we sort it by potential ability. Here they are, Luigi Romano and Simeon Dolcini, 190 and 189 potential respectively. They are looking very, very good, although there's a massive difference in value here. Dolcini is worth £76 million. Who's he playing for at the moment? Real Madrid. Fair enough. Left from Tre Penne to Napoli on a free transfer. Didn't really play much at Napoli, I've got to say, but has then made the move to Real Madrid for £78 million this past season. Made 5 appearances so far and 1 player of the match. That's not a bad going, to be fair, but I'm not quite sure why he wasn't playing too much in Italy, or too much in San Marino with. They're not massive appearances, to be fair. Only 117 appearances in a what? What's that, 8-9 year career? That's not the best, is it? Either way, his attributes are pretty sick, to be fair, and fair play. He looks like a decent player. 63 caps on the national side as well. Not too bad. Romano, though, only 750k. What's gone on there? He's currently playing for Renhe, who are a Chinese Super League side. So we've seen a few players go to China, actually, from San Marino, which is an interesting one. He's only valued at 750k, got only £16,000 per week in wages as well, so it's not like he's going for the money. And to be fair, I don't think he's really fulfilled that potential, unfortunately. He's 24 years old now, with a current ability of 144, but that potential of 190, that's never going to be reached. I don't think he's actually ever going to get better than 144. He might reach 150 at some point, but we're not going to get near that 190, so that's a big shame, really. Luca Zanotti as well was also another regen. Again, 24 years old, only 137 current ability with 177 potential. Again, at 24, he's probably not going to reach that potential, which is a shame. So we have seen a few of these players not reach their potential. Perhaps they have stuck around in San Marino too long, for example, and they've gone to China again, that sort of thing. Simeon Dolcini, of course, he stayed for 4 years as well in San Marino before moving to Napoli, so that's an interesting one. But I suppose the facilities at Napoli have really, and the competition of Serie A have really helped him out there. So looks like this guy, Michel Guidi, something like that. He looks like a new regen since last time we were here, perhaps. He's come in, staying his entire career at Tre Penne right now. He's got potential of 164. Only 22 years old, got limited time to reach that. I'm not sure if he will reach it or not. But we do have a new superstar goalkeeper, perhaps, in Filippo Zavoli. 147 potential at 17 years old. Again, he could be a bit of a future star for the San Marino side. Currently playing for Tre Penne still, but not really starting many games. Played last season, But this season obviously not started for San Marino yet. So that's an interesting little look into the San Marino side. Some good players coming up. If we look at from when we were last here, 2022, a few more games won at the end of the year in that European League Division D. So that was good stuff. 2023, not a bad one to be fair. European Championship qualifying year. Wins over Gibraltar and Montenegro. Draws with Israel and Israel again. Not too bad, but losing out to Sweden, Belgium and Montenegro there as well. So obviously not qualifying for the Euros, unfortunately, in 2024. But the European League Division D, or the UEFA Nations League, whatever you want to call it, that seems to have been pretty decent in 2024. Only losing one game to Armenia, so they must have won their group that year. 2025, not the best year though. They beat Finland in the World Cup qualifying, but lost all their other games. Won some friendlies against Belarus and Moldova, but they weren't competitive fixtures. So no World Cup for San Marino yet either. And the year we've just had, they had been promoted to UEFA Nations League Division C. So they did get up actually. So now in the C League. So that's progress to be fair. So out of the 4 tiers of European international football, San Marino now in the 3rd tier. So that's pretty good. So more competitive fixtures now. Hopefully that's going to see the team progress a little bit. And so far they're not bottom of the group, because if they finish bottom of the group, they get relegated. That's not what you want to see. So good stuff so far, I think. If we look at the San Marino League, it's really bounced up to 107th most reputable league in the world. Tre Penne have won all the titles since we were last here as well. So we'll have a look at those guys in a few minutes or so. But some good progress there in competition reputation. I like to see that. It's really bounced up the past few seasons. As you can see, in 2021, it was 168th, then 148th, then 139th, up to 100. It stayed actually the same between 2023 and 2024, 129th, but has really bounced up from 2025 to now 107th. So that's really good. Hopefully next time when we jump forwards in the future, we'll see the San Marino leagues in the top 100. If we have a quick look through some of these transfers, I don't think anyone's going for money apart from this guy. Yuri Cisse has gone from Generation Foot, who must be, I mean, where are these guys based? They're based in Senegal. They've won the Senegalese league there. He went for over £500,000 to Tre Penne. So rather than relying on their youth prospects, which hopefully they should be doing, they are signing foreign players to come in. He looks like a decent player, to be fair. Looks like he'll do a job, but unfortunately, I don't think we want to be seeing that. We want to be seeing homegrown players come through to help San Marino win the World Cup. Now, considering that Tre Penne have won the league the past few seasons since we were last here, I think it's probably worthwhile having a look at their fixtures and seeing how they've done in European competitions. So if we start in the 22-23 season, the first one since that last cycle, of course, in this 4-year cycle that we're currently looking at, they did all right, I suppose. They lost to Sheriff in the Champions League first qualifying round, but got all the way through to the 4th qualifying round of the Europa League. How many times have we seen a San Marino side lose to Bate in this experiment so far? We're barely into it, really. It's quite frustrating. Season afterwards, though, again, quite a disappointing one, losing out in the 2nd qualifying round of the Euro Cup, or Europa League, of course. That's not too good. 2023-24, lose to Apoel in the Euro Cup 2nd qualifying round again, so not the best. We want to be seeing more than that, but in the 24-25 season, they actually get through to the group stages of the Europa League, which is absolutely massive for a San Marino side. They lose out in that first qualifying round for the Champions League, but win all of their Euro Cup qualifying rounds, including a 2-1 win on aggregate against Rosenborg, which is massive. Werder Bremen, Young Boys and Bilbao come up in the group stages of the Europa League, which is massive, to be fair. They only win the one game against Young Boys, but that's a win at least, to be fair. So that's really good progress. They do it again the season afterwards, which is even more fantastic, I've got to say. Knocked out in the 2nd round of a Champions League qualifying to Olympiacos, but get through against Cork and FH in the Europa League qualifying rounds. Into the group stages against Man United, Galatasaray and Red Star Belgrade. A much more difficult group than the year before, I think, and unsurprisingly, lose almost every game. They beat Red Star, draw with Red Star, 1-1 at home, but other than that, lose all the games. But again, really good stuff from Tre Penne. I'm very proud of them. The season afterwards, the season we've just had, looks like they're not doing anything. They get knocked out by Sparta Prague in each Euro Cup qualifying rounds, unfortunately. But still, that is really good progress from Tre Penne. I have just had a quick flick through some of these other sides that have sort of become runners-up or 3rd place in the league to see how they've done. But unfortunately, nothing quite the same as Tre Penne, not getting through like the early qualifying rounds. So we'll skip over that for now. We'll go forward, I think, into the future just a little bit. Another 4 years, of course, and we'll see what's happened. So I'll see you in a second. And just like that, we are in 2030. So let's quickly go over to the San Marino national side. This time we've seen a small jump up actually to 117th, which suggests there has been a bit of stagnation in between the 4-year cycle that we've just gone through. 2030 or so, they were like 129th or so, but since then they've not really gone up too much, only to 117th, which is still an improvement. It's still good, but it's not quite the same rapid expansion that we'd seen in the first 2 cycles, of course. Back in that national side then, Romano, Dolcini and Zanotti are still there, of course. Romano now valued at £15 million. Who's he playing for now? Benfica now, interestingly. Spent a good few years in China before making a move to Porto and then a £3.7 million move to Benfica the season afterwards. Having a good time in Portugal by looks of things, actually looking at these kind of attributes and things like that. So good to see him back in the European leagues. Hopefully that's going to be good for him. But as I said, he never broke that 144 current potential, and that 190 potential ability is just such a waste. I wish he would have reached that. Dolcini, though, valued at £82 million now. Still got a good bit of future ahead of him, of course. Still playing for Real Madrid, still looking pretty decent, still getting some very, very good average ratings, so good for him, of course. And Zanotti is still in China, this time with a different side, though, so he's still loving his life, making some money in China. This guy, though, Ricardo Rosti, he is the new wonder kid on the block by looks of things. 147 potential, 105 current ability at 19 years old. Looks pretty decent. Is available on a free transfer, though, so clearly no clubs wanting him at the moment, which I find very peculiar. We might have to have a look at this in a minute. Have a look at some of these clubs' financial situations and things like that. The rest of 2026 looks okay. Some mixed results in the Nations League Group C, so I think they might have done enough to avoid relegation. Year afterwards, of course, is European qualification. A few more wins there. We're starting to see a few more wins, although two of them are friendly, so one of them in the qualification stages. So again, we want to be seeing a bit more from San Marino in European qualifications. We want to them actually get to an international competition. 2028 now, and actually they lost to Iceland in the Euro Championships qualifying playoff, so they must have actually done okay. They must have got on the very edge of qualification somehow. I'm not quite sure how that one works out, but they lose to Iceland either way, so actually they just missed out on the European Championships, which is pretty impressive to be fair. So hopefully next time we go forward, we'll see them actually qualify for something. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like they had a great time in the Nations League Division C. That might be a relegation with only the one win against Slovenia. In 2029, it's World Cup qualification and only the one win against North Macedonia. Every other game is pretty much a loss. A draw against Croatia as well is pretty decent, but it's not going to get them to a World Cup anytime soon. And in the year we've just had, they did get relegated in the Nations League to Division D, but they are unbeaten so far in 2013 friendlies and the Nations League, so hopefully we'll see them bounce back up to Division C pretty quickly. San Marino League, though, has gone on leaps and bounds. They've jumped up to 76, so while we've seen a little bit of stagnation from the national side, the club domestic leagues has jumped up to 76th, right behind the Albanian Super League. Now, you know you're a good league when you're right behind the Albanian Super League. The dominance of Trey Penne has sort of subsided now, and a few different sides are winning the league in between cycles, which is good news. We'd like to see a bit of variation in the winners of a title. Hopefully, though, that means that they've done pretty well in continental competitions. Obviously, Trey Penne we've seen in the group stages competitions. Nano at first, and by looks of things, they haven't really done that good. They've got through qualification rounds, but not getting to the group stages, unfortunately, so that's pretty poor. Similar sort of thing for Morata, unfortunately, as we look through their past few seasons. Not really being in it at all, but when they are in it, not getting through those initial qualifying rounds. And again, Tre Fiori, looking through their past few seasons, not really doing much at all, not really being in it at all. When they are in it, again, not getting through those initial qualifying rounds, which is a big shame. Since Trey Penne's appearance in the group stages, they've not actually made a group stage since then. They've got to the fourth qualifying round a few times since then, but haven't managed to make inroads into the group stages again. Not actually been in the European competitions for the past 3 seasons. So they're on a bit of a downward spiral, Trey Penne, unfortunately. So I'm not quite sure where the big jump has come from, to be fair. I've had a look through a few sides. I can't see anyone getting to the group stages at all. So this big jump has just been caused by maybe consistency of sides doing well, getting to that fourth qualifying round, I suppose. Maybe that might be the indication. Once they actually start to consistently get into the group stages, we'll see another big surge, I think. So hopefully that happens pretty soon. I have also been asked actually to look at the San Marino side in the Italian leagues. They're currently in Serie A C/A. Again, I'm not really too familiar with the Italian leagues. I presume that means they're in like the top half of the Serie C system, perhaps. So no real progress. They haven't actually got any real players either, if we look at this. So that's not too good either. So we may have to try and do something about this pretty soon. We might have to start investing some money into them to see if they can really push on to Serie A and really represent San Marino on an international scale. And that, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go forward another 4 years for the final time in this episode. We'll see what's happened and then we'll sort of evaluate what needs to be done next time. We might have to add some more money because we've seen a little bit of stagnation. If there is a lot of stagnation next time we go forward, I think we're going to have to try and do something by adding a lot of money to some of these clubs. And just like that, another 4 years has gone by, another 4-year cycle, and this time we are 100th in the world ranking, San Marino, so just about to break inside of that top 100, which is pretty exciting. It does suggest, though, there has been a bit of stagnation the past 4 years or so, I think, by looks of things. We haven't really gone up that far, and actually, if you look at this, we were 96th at one point, 99th here, so we have dropped down just a little bit, San Marino, so stagnation is sort of starting to set in, so we need to do something at the end of this episode to try and change that. 2030 was a very good year for San Marino. They won all but one game, this time Lithuania getting a 2-2 draw in the UEFA Nations League Division D, so all the wins there and a draw must mean they got promoted from Division D to Division C again, which is very, very good. 2031 European qualifying looks like it's gone okay, to be fair. It's not disastrous out there. A few wins against Finland and Latvia, and Latvia again, for example, is pretty decent. Hopefully we'll see them qualify maybe second or third in the group or through the playoffs, something like that maybe. 2032, they are actually in the European Championships. They got to this European Championships semi-final qualifying. They beat Armenia. And then in the final, they beat Belarus. So they got to the European Championships for the first time ever, San Marino, in Group A, lose to Sweden, draw with Denmark, and lose to the Dutch. To be fair, only 3-2 in both those games. So it was very tight. You know, they could have had, if things had gone slightly different by looks of things, maybe San Marino could have got to the knockout stages, which would have been amazing. But finally, into a European Championships, which is a really good way to end this episode. We won't go any further in this episode, so I'm pretty pleased with that. European Nations League, Division C, looks like it was a fairly decent group. Israel and Slovenia, draws and wins there. That could actually put on top of the group, actually. We'll go forward. They might be in Division B come 2034. 2033 is World Cup qualifying year. It's not perhaps gone quite as well as European qualifying. They've won 2 games against Luxembourg, but the rest of them draws and losses and things like that. And then 2034, losses so far in friendlies, but they are actually in the Division B, so the second tier of European football now, which is massive, to be fair. So hopefully we'll see the world rankings rocket up actually pretty soon, because if they are in Division B, that must give them a bit of a boost in world rankings. So Norway and Sweden to face in Division B. I don't think they'll win it, but you never know with these sort of things. They might avoid relegation, they might finish second in the group and just sort of stay where they are. Obviously, if you win it, you go and get promoted. If you come bottom of the group, you get relegated. So middle of the ground is the aim, I think, for San Marino there in this competition. Hopefully they get it. And this national side then is the one that's taken them there. By looks of things, the really good players that we had before are no longer there. Luigi Romano is still a player, which is interesting, but clearly not in the national squad at the moment for some reason. I presume because they weren't near retirement age as far as I was aware, so maybe they've just not been picked for a while for some reason. Perhaps they weren't picked for the friendly games and they will be picked again for the Nations League squad. I'm not quite sure, but it gives it a bit of a different look at some of these national players. Not massive potential, unfortunately. I think we might have to try and make a few adjustments at the end of this episode to try and make San Marino a bit more competitive and a bit more regens coming through, for example. But not too bad, I've got to say. I'm pleased with this. Zavoli is the best player in terms of potential ability in the squad at the moment, a goalkeeper. I think he might be a chat that we looked at last time. Moved from Trey Penne to Saudi Arabia and has been there his entire career since then. But getting some good average ratings, to be fair. They seem to be going to some bizarre places, these San Marino players. Not sticking to Europe. A lot of them going to China. Obviously, Saudi Arabia now as well. Who does this chap play for? He's available on a free transfer after being let go by these San Marino clubs. And I feel like these San Marino clubs, if we look at their finances, they've got the money. I mean, that's what, 2.6 million there that they've got in the bank. But I don't know, some of these really good players that they've got with the high potentials just seem to be leaving the clubs. Perhaps they're just not wanting to stay, or perhaps they can't they can't afford the wages, for example. Facilities, by looks of things, have dropped a little bit. We made everything 20 out of 20, so things have dropped since then. So I think at the end of the episode, I'll go through every single side and I'm going to upgrade the facilities back to 20 out of 20 for every single one. Looking at money, I know they're at £2 million in the good, but I think we should be giving them a big chunk of money. I think we might give every club, I'm going to say 100 million. I know that sounds a bit extreme, but this is quite an extreme experiment trying to get them to win a World Cup. We need to do everything possible. So I think giving each club 100 million is a good way to do that. Looks like Trey Penne have managed to win a few more titles since dropping off in between the last 4 years cycle sort of thing. So good to see them back up there. How have they been doing? In fact, actually, let's go back first of all. Where are they? 75th in continental competition rankings. So really a lot of stagnation from the San Marino sides. We were 78th before that, I think. So it's a lot of stagnation, up to 73rd at one point, down to 75th at this stage, as low as 79th at another point. So a lot of stagnation at the moment from across the board, I think, in some of these situations. So I think we need to add some money pretty quickly. We'll have a quick look at Trey Penne, the most successful side we've seen so far. By looks of things, though, they've got to the fourth qualifying round so many times, but haven't got back into the group stages yet since their early bit of success. And again, haven't quite done it here, which is a bit of a shame. I think the stagnation is here now. We need to start adding some money to some of these clubs, I think. I mean, Trey Penne have got £6 million in the bank, but if they want to start competing and things like that, we need to add a lot more money. So I think I'm going to add £100 million to each bank balance that every club's got. If we look at facilities, again, these facilities are dropped as well. So I think we'll start to bring everyone's facilities back up to 20 out of 20, for example. Let's have a quick look at stadiums as well. I know I've just sort of briefly brushed over that. I've just seen a few new stadiums in place here. So a lot of teams seem to have new stadiums. In fact, I think everyone has a new stadium by looks of things, because they all look... This stadium might not be new. That stadium's not new, but I think most of them do, particularly like these top 7 ones, all new stadiums by looks of things. Biggest one's only 6,700 capacity, which I suppose isn't too bad, to be fair. It's it's a good size for the San Marino clubs, but it's bigger than the National Stadium. I think this one could... No, actually, this one isn't a National Stadium. The National Stadium's 5,500. I think they all played there, but clearly they don't, because some teams are in 500-seater stadiums, as you can see down here, but some in nearly 7,000-seater stadiums. The actual San Marino club, they're in Serie D now. So they were in Serie C last time, dropped down to Serie D. We need to do something about this club. We need to get them going as well. So again, I'll add money to this club. Because they're in Italy, it might be an idea to add a bit of reputation as well, but that could be a bit risky. I don't want to add reputation as... Well, that's my last resort sort of thing, increasing reputation massively. So maybe we won't do reputation yet, but if next episode there's still not enough growth, reputation is an option. So I think we've seen some good progress in this episode. I think we've seen, well, obviously we've seen a massive increase in world rankings up to 100. We've seen them reach the actual European Championships group stages, which is absolutely massive. We've actually seen them get to a competition. So that's really, really good progress. They're currently in the second tier of the UEFA Nations League, but again, really good stuff. So we are seeing the progress happening. It is working. We just need to give them a bit of a helping hand to make it happen a bit quicker, I think, for next episode. So, next episode is going to be out on Wednesday, Wednesday at 8 o'clock UK time, so look forward to that one. Again, if you have enjoyed today's episode, please do drop a like on the video, and there's going to be a subscribe button in the middle of the screen right now. And now you've got a choice. You can watch another experiment of mine, or you can go and watch the Lincoln Loco 2 series. Episode 1 of season 13 comes out tomorrow, so if you want to jump in right from there, be my guest. If you want to start from the beginning, like some of you have, please do that as well. I'll see you in another video. Goodbye.